Hello and welcome to the Alpha Edge Podcast, the show for men over 50 who refuse to fade out, slow down, play small, or settle for average. I'm your host, Kevin English. I'm a healthy aging expert, coach, and founder of the Alpha Edge, and I am here to help you get and stay strong in every dimension of your life, physically, mentally, emotionally, morally, and spiritually. You're here because you're ready to reclaim your power, to own your masculinity, and lead your life with strength and purpose. If you're ready to sharpen your edge, revive your drive, and lead like a man who's built for more, you're in the right place. All right, men, let's get after it. Russell, welcome back to our podcast, man. How's it going?
Thank you, Kevin. Things are going good.
Yeah, all right.
Sun shining, birds are chirping.
There you go. It's a beautiful day. Another day in paradise.
It sure is.
Let's get after it,
Yes.
man. Hey, here's what I want to talk about today. Last time we talked about being a scrawny grandpa. I want to talk about some strength standards. Now, this discussion's come up, I think, a couple of times in our Alpha Edge Men's group. And basically, the question goes something like this. What is strong? What's a benchmark for strength? What should I be shooting for? When you say, Kevin, we talk in that group about being holistically strong. We talk about physical strength, spiritual strength, moral strength, emotional strength, being holistically strong as a man and stepping into your authentic masculinity. But specifically, when we talk about being physically strong, that's pretty subjective, right? So what I thought we would do is have some fun and talk about what is strong. Now, if you're not currently strong, we answered this question in the last podcast. So if you haven't listened to that, go back and listen to it. But you can absolutely be strong when you're 50. You can be strong when you're 50. You can be strong when you're 60, 70, 80. You can be strong, right? So that if you're not currently strong, you can get strong. Absolutely. It's a lie for people to say that, hey, you don't pick up heavy things, etc. So we can be strong over 50. So what I thought I'd do is there are some fairly standard markers for men's strength when it comes to basically barbell lifts. And I'm going to go over some of these. And let me preface this by saying, we're going to start by saying, hey, you should be able to lift this much weight in a 1 rep max. Now, if you are an advanced lifter, this applies to you. If you are new or intermediate lifter, you probably shouldn't be loading up the bar and testing a 1 rep max yet. That's a good way for you to get hurt. So just with that caveat, I wanted to throw that out there before I start talking about some of these strength benchmarks that are fairly well accepted. Now, I'll also say before I go over these, that these are for men in general. So this statement, the way I've read this and heard this, basically applies to men in general and does not apply specifically to men 50, 60, and 70. I'm not going to water it down for us though. So keep that in mind as well. So, we'll come back after this and talk about, well, hey, if you're nowhere close to some of these strength standards, what should you be aiming for? But I'm going to start here. For the deadlift, 2 times your body weight. So let's just keep things really simple. 200-pound dude, can you pick up 200 pounds off the floor? That'd be a pretty reasonable strength benchmark. Russell, you with me on that one?
Yeah. You said 2 times, right?
2 times body weight.
2 times. Yeah.
So sorry. That's
definitely.
Sorry. That's 400 pounds, guys. Yes. You should certainly be able to pick up your own body weight. But yes. Yeah. Russell's like, I can rip really strong.
I could rip that for 30.
Yeah. Right on. All right.
No. Yeah. And no, definitely. I would say that's a good marker.
And that's legit strong, right? I mean, that's not make believe strong. I mean, look, if you're a competitive power lifter, you're probably thinking, I warm up with that weight. But for us mere mortals, double body weight is a real indicator that you have a strong, capable body. You have a strong grip. You have a strong posterior chain, meaning you got glutes, hamstrings. You have a strong, capable core and back if you can rip 400 pounds off the floor at 200 pounds.
And if you're new to weightlifting or, maybe you lifted 10, 15, 20 years ago, just sometimes pulling the bar off the ground, right? That's your new strength marker.
Yeah.
And tomorrow it's putting 2 10s on, or next week or whatever, putting 2 10s on either side, right? The goal is to get to that area. Right. Please don't put 400 pounds on the bar and just try to rip it off the ground.
Yeah.
But the goal is to get to that.
Sure.
That is a great goal.
That would be a great goal.
But that's the end line goal if you're just starting, right? Yeah. But no, I agree. The 2 times the body weight, definitely.
2 times body weight.
Wasn't
So
great.
yeah, again, if you're a 150-pound guy, that's a three, pick up 300. If you're 250, that's five. So you can kind of do the math there, but that's a real good indicator of a very strong man. And certainly if you're in our age demographic, you're in the 0.0001% of
God, you're
strong
in,
guys,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
you're in such a tiny percent.
Such a tiny percent there. Barbell back squat. I like 1.5 times body weight. So again, going back to our 200-pound dude, if you can barbell full range of motion, that means hip crease at the knees or lower. So that full range of motion. I see a whole lot of y'all half repping in the gym. Full barbell back squat, 1.5 times body weight. So 300-pound back squat. That's legit freaking strong, right?
Yes, yes.
100%.
It's a it's a
That's a strong dude. Strong legs, strong
very strong
back.
dude,
Yeah.
especially if you're going all the way,
If you're doing a full
full
range of
range of
motion,
motion. Yeah.
100%. And look, if you can't do a full range of motion, I'd work on that first. I would, body
Yes,
weight
yes.
squats, figure that out. It's probably ankle mobility, could be something else, but I'd get that fixed before I worried about a 300-pound back squat. I'd be working on my mobility and being able to move well, move confidently in that full range of motion, move powerfully. And again, if you're not currently strong, that doesn't apply to 300 pounds or 1.5 times doesn't apply to you. That's just an idea, right? A stake in the ground. Hey, could I someday get there with the proper plan and the proper work? Absolutely. And then the other big one is the barbell bench press. I like to be able to see dudes be able to do your body weight. So if you're a 200-pound dude, can you press 200? Again, full range of motion. That bar lower with control, doesn't bounce off your chest, but touches the chest. You press it back up powerfully, 1.5 times your body weight. So, or sorry, just your body weight for
One.
the
Yeah.
bench press. So 200-pound dude doing 200 pounds, I think is really, really a good benchmark for strength. Again, if you're a power lifter, you're probably not listening to this anyway, but if you are, bear with us. I know that's your warm-up weight. I get it. But for the rest of us, that's legit strong, being able to push that away from you one time, right? Hey, brother, quick question. Are you living like a modern stoic or are you getting tossed around by life? I put together a free workbook titled The Stoic Edge. It's a 7-day action plan to help you master your mind, your emotions, and your responses so you can lead yourself and your family with grounded strength. If you want to stop reacting and start leading, grab your free copy now. You can find the download link in the show notes for this episode or head over to alphaedgearmy.com.
Yeah. I'm gonna add one more for you.
Sure, hit me.
Pull up.
Oh, that's
Pull
next on
up.
my list, brother. Go.
Oh, good,
Yep,
good. I love it.
100% it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
What do you think a good marker
10.
is? 10. Okay. Yeah. Great.
10,
No, I like
10
it.
strict
Pull
pull-ups
up.
is manly.
What's funny about the pull up is you could probably go to the most jacked dude in the gym and ask
Right.
him to do 10 pull ups,
Right.
and he probably couldn't.
That's
Probably couldn't rep one.
Yeah, a lot of
That's
those
one
really
that's
big
so
dudes. Yeah,
overlooked.
some of the power lifters probably not. They're probably not doing any, let alone repping out 10. But I think for just general fitness for a dude in his 50s, 60s, being able to rep out 10 pull-ups, 100% a hallmark. And again, that puts you in look. If you can do one strict pull-up. And a pull-up is different. A pull-up as opposed to a chin-up. Chin-up is that with your palms facing you. A pull-up's your palms facing away, and that full range of motion. So fully extended at the bottom, chin over the top,
That's
without
what's
tipping or doing any crazy flopping around. You're in rare company.
funny story. I was in the police academy many, many years ago, and I found out how they grade the physical fitness. So the way they do it, run, push up, sit ups, and pull ups. Well, I found out pull ups were graded on it threw your score way up if you could do pull ups because hardly anyone could do them. So all summer, that's all I did was
Work
work
on
on my
your
pull ups.
pull-ups. Yeah.
I was horrible in the run. I was like close to last in the run. I did average on push-ups and sit-ups, but I murdered it in
Yeah.
pull-ups.
Yeah.
And I got top physical fitness, and everybody was so upset.
So wait,
They're like, he's last in the
this is
runs.
last in
Like,
the run.
what's
How is he
going
top?
on?
Yeah, but he can rep out and pull ups like a
I was
machine.
cranking 25 full
Woo!
extension pull-ups.
Yeah.
No problem at all. That's all I did all summer. It was
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's such a great marker of strength.
It is. I think. Oh, actually, never mind. That's in our group. That's not. for public consumption. But yeah, all right. So yes, the pull-ups. I think 10 pull-ups. Here's another one for you, Russell. Relative
Mm.
to the pull-up for upper body weight dips. I'm a dip lover.
Oh
I
yeah.
think that every
Yeah.
man should be able to do 10 full range of motion, deep, strong dips. Great for, whereas a pull up is back and bicep. When we talk dips, we're talking chest and triceps. So we got the whole upper body. If a man can do 10 strict pull ups and 10 strict dips, he's freaking strong, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
No,
again,
I
if you
agree.
can't do if you can't do one, that's your goal. Do one, and look,
Yeah.
celebrate that. You can do one, then your goal is two. And here's what I'll say about something like a pull up or a dip. By the time you can do 10 strict pull ups, it's time to throw some weight on, guys. Either throw in a weight vest,
Yeah.
you can put a dumbbell in between your knees, or if you're really strong dude, you're going to need a weight belt and a chain, and you're going to chain some plates in between your legs and start doing sets of 2, 3, maybe 5, even singles of really heavy pull-ups and dips. That'll make you beast animal strong. Is getting
Yeah.
getting good at heavy weighted pull-ups, weighted dips.
And I'm in the tore a shoulder, something in my shoulder, so I'm working back up to it, and I'm using bands now to help me with assist, and it works out great because you can get a full range of motion. You can control it, and it really helps out. I mean, I want to go in there and rep out. I could probably squeeze some weights throughout there, but with the injury, it's not a smart
Not a
move.
smart
So,
move. Not a smart move.
but
Yeah.
that has helped me. Just like you said, just doing one pull up,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then the next day I did two,
Yeah.
and then or next time I was in there, I just started building onto it. So
Right.
yeah, those are great dips and pull ups. Awesome.
Dips and pull-ups, love them. Here's another one that I think when it comes to what it means to be strong, and this is strong in a different sense, but I think every man should be able to run a mile. And I think when I was originally thinking this, I think every man should be able to run an 8-minute mile. That's pretty freaking fast, but you should
Yeah,
damn
that's a
sure be
little
able to
fast.
run. Yeah, that's actually getting after it. You should be able to run up a sub 10-minute mile. I think any man over 60 should have that capability. That's now we're expressing cardiovascular strength. We're expressing some endurance strength, some muscular endurance. We're expressing some of that slow twitch strength. So I think not giving up that ability to be able to run a mile at a decent pace. And then I'll add on to that. I think every man should have the ability to sprint full out for just a short distance, even if it's just 30
Yeah.
yards, 40 yards. But don't surrender that lightly. I read this horrifying statistic that said, I can't remember, 80% of all humans over the age of 35 will never sprint all out again as long as they live. And look,
Yeah.
it's because we don't have to. Russell, you were a cop, right? Sprinting was probably part of your job duty at times. But for most
Yeah.
of us with office jobs and regular lives, we're not called on to sprint. That's a very, very foundational, functional human movement, that ability to move all out. Now, again, just like I don't want any dude here listening to this that's not a deadlifter to load up, double his body weight, and go try and pull that off the floor. You're going to get hurt. I don't want any dude that's not sprinted in decades to go out and go, oh, yeah, Coach Kevin said I should be able to sprint. Let me get after it. Don't. You're going to get hurt. Start by just some gentle running, and then get just a couple of what we call strides, just a couple of quick turnover paces. But you want to build up to a sprint, and then once you have a sprint, you want to maintain that, because if you don't sprint, you're not going to have that. And then should the need arise for you to ever sprint in your life, and for a lot of people it probably won't, but should it arise, and we're men, we want to be capable, we want to be functional, you've got that, and you're not going to pull up short with a hammy in an emergency. So I think that being able to run and being able to sprint is, again, something we should not surrender lightly just because we're old dudes. What do you think, Russell? You a runner? You a sprinter?
No. So, well, I'm more of a sprinter than I am a long distance runner.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I walk a lot. And what's funny is every month or two, I'll just do a mile run just to see if I lost anything, or if and it's crazy how that has helped me even with my runs. Like,
Yep.
I don't lose anything. Again, with the sprinting, I will add those into a workout plan, but it's not very often. So, like when I was doing my powerlifting phase of workouts, I didn't sprint. So
Yep.
we were at a gathering with a bunch of people were sprinting, and I was like, oh, I wanted to get into it so bad, but I'm like, no,
This
I'm
is
gonna
called
pull
Russell
some,
gets hurt. Yeah.
it's gonna be really bad. So I actually
Yeah.
bit my tongue and walked away from it.
Yeah.
But during the time where I was sprinting, yeah, I got, I coached my son's 12-year-old basketball team, so my goal was to beat up 12-year-olds. It was
Beat him down the
sprint.
court. Yeah.
We had sprint races, and I won. I
Yeah.
was so excited. And I'm like, I don't know if I should be so excited about beating 12-year-olds, but it was a thrill for me,
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
but I was training for it too. I had it into be smart about those things too, right? Don't if you haven't ran in a long time, right? Start building up to it a little bit. But
100%.
walking should keep you in the game, I think.
Yeah, that's table stakes. Every man here should be walking,
Yeah.
like we said. I think in
I've
the last
been in
podcast.
the
Yeah,
I've been to the doctor and they got my resting heart rate. They're like, "Oh, you must run a lot," and I'm like, "No, I don't run at all. I just walk. I walk a lot," and they're like, "Oh, okay."
yeah,
So I'm a big fan of that, but I'm also a big fan, like you said, of mixing it in and adding it in and
yeah,
seeing where you test into it.
yeah, yeah. I'm with you there, 100%. I think that's a shame that we might go decades or even our entire life without expressing our bodies in something as fundamental as a sprint. So, guys, there's a challenge
Yeah.
for you. Work up to a sprint if that's not currently in your repertoire. And I got one last one here. I think dudes should be able to jump. One thing that I love programming are box jumps. I was gonna say for dudes,
Yeah.
I program for my ladies as well. If they can't jump
Yeah.
to a box, I can jump to a bench. Can't jump to a bench, stack a few plates up. But I tell you, CrossFit has done a really good job, or any of these functional fitnesses, of bringing back sprinting and rope climbing and box jumping and
Yeah.
some of these basic human movements. Now, the way they program it, we could argue whether that's good or bad, but I think
Yeah.
that again, I think it's something we're not called to do very often, to jump onto a 32-inch box or a 28-inch box or even, a 20-inch box for that matter. And so again, that expression of raw athletic power, of fast twitch muscle activation, being able to do that, something you don't want to surrender lightly. And the reason you can't do it is because you don't do it. It's not because you're old. Now, some of you
You're
are,
right.
yeah, yeah. I think having some sort of programming jumps is a fantastic thing. All dudes should do is, if you haven't jumped in quite some time, and I'm just talking about standing in a power stance and just jumping, leaping on top of something. Start small. Start again with just stack up a couple plates, jump to that, and stack up a couple more, jump to that, until we get to where a lot of gyms these days, they'll have those boxes where you roll them on one side and they're maybe 20 inches. You roll them on the other side, maybe they're 26 inches. And you flip them up and they're maybe 32 inches or something like that. So you can kind of progress, but having the ability to jump, and then all the other things we talk about all the time, the ability to do heavy carries, the ability to push and pull, all of that are all of the functional exercises. Obviously, we're not gonna have specific standards for those, but there you go. There's some strength standards for some of you. Now, those of you out there that are pretty strong and are close to this or over this, you're probably feeling pretty good about yourself. Those of you that are nowhere near some of these strength standards, now you just have an idea of what we mean when we say a really strong dude. That's what we're talking about. And if that's not you today, that's fine. No shame, no guilt. And certainly you should meet yourself with love and grace wherever you are. But now work towards getting stronger. If you can't deadlift 2 times your body weight, like Russell said, start with a bar, learn good form.
Yeah.
Go buy the book Starting Strength by Mark Rippetoe. That'll give you a master's degree in the mechanics of actually doing the deadlift. Or hire, and I'll put a caveat on this, hire a good deadlifting coach. If you're in a big box gym, those kids in there are not qualified to teach you how to deadlift or barbell back squat safely. They're just not. Or most of them aren't, I should say. But start small. I think, Russell, you said start with the barbell, empty barbell, add some tens. Throw some fives on after that. Throw some. Just progressively overload.
If you're nowhere near, just start with the motion of just doing
with that
right?
full range of motion. Start with a body weight squat.
There's always a starting point for something. So,
Yeah. All right. Again, we'll go back to my boy Mark Ripito, who says strong people are harder to kill and more useful in general. That full quote there. Another way of saying that is weak things break. We want you guys to become unbreakable. Stronger you are, the less fragile you are. Like we talked about in the last episode, I think that was the "Don't be a scrawny grandpa" episode. Become unbreakable, become strong. So there you go. Till next time, guys, stay strong. Okay, men, that's our show for this week. Don't forget to download our free guide titled How to Raise Your Testosterone Naturally. You can find the download link in the show notes for this episode on whatever app you're listening to this podcast on. If you've enjoyed today's show, here are 3 ways you can support us. Number 1, share this episode with a friend. Number 2, make sure to like and follow this show, and please consider leaving us a 5-star review. Number 3, give us a follow over at Instagram. We're at Alpha Edge Army. So that's Alpha Edge Army all run together. I really appreciate you men taking the time to listen. And until next week, stay strong.